the ramp up, with a specific plan. And today he came out and he looked pretty spry.
And, he had 1,000 yards last year, but was that quickness element something that maybe wasn't as there last year?
No, I think what it is more so for us, like I said, the one thing these guys have to understand is as you get aged in this league, your body changes and certain demands, come and I think now as he's getting older, this is his third year and that's still old in the NFL. You want him to understand how important it is to be in shape and stay in shape.
Ron, we saw Curtis doing side field stuff. What's his status? What's going on with Curtis?
Well, the real good thing with it is more so than anything else is this is all about the plan. We came out the first couple of days, got a chance to really look at him. I know he and Al talked a little bit, and there was some concern as far as just his overall football conditioning and shape. You can train all you want, you can condition all you want, but coming back and doing some of the things that we want him to do, we got to be smart with it. Al and his guys have a plan, and so with Curtis, we're going to stick to the plan.
The offensive line, obviously, Brandon Scherf leaving. You got Trey Turner. You got Norwell. I'm wondering what you expect out of that line in terms of kind of almost a collective trying to replace Brandon, and what do you think that unit can do?
Well, I think it's really about the sum of the five pieces, more so than it is anything else, and that's what it was for us last year. Don't get me wrong, Brandon's a great player. And it is hard to replace that caliber player. But again, it is a collective, and it is about the five guys.
Was that expected with Curtis that there would be?
I think more so than anything else, it was about seeing where he was when we got him back those first couple of days. And just listening to him, and in all honesty, him talking about his hamstrings and lower back being sore and tight. One of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we brought him back the right way. So they've put a plan together. They've sat down. They went over it with Curtis yesterday, and they're implementing it now. And what will happen is you'll see there'll be ramp-ups, and then they'll slow it back down. There'll be ramp-ups. There'll be times when he's interacting, getting some of the 11-on-11 work, stuff like that. But it's all part of the plan, with the ultimate goal is really the regular season more than it is anything else. This has nothing to do with last year's groin injury or anything like that. This is just about the plan for him specifically.
Brian Robinson, we've seen him. He seems to have good hands. It's obviously not something you saw live in college, but his ability to do that.
Yes, oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the exciting things about about a big guy like him out in space. You get on a one-on-one, you make a cut, and the next thing you know, you're into the second level, and now you got corners and smaller DBs having to tackle him. That's a pretty good matchup for us.
I know it's still early in camp, but just the quarterback play overall, where are you at with it? Are you comfortable with it? Is it?
Oh, yeah, very much so. I mean, part of it is you got to understand what we got going on out there. Only one guy really has a lot of experience in what we do and how we do it. With Carson, with Sam, with Cole, it's about learning and understanding the concepts, learning and understanding the progression of your reads, and then decision making. So as we go through this, you feel good as long as you start seeing decisions being made the way they need to. And then when you listen in on the conversations they're having in the meetings and you hear them, hey, why did you do this? I went from here to here to here, and that's why. And you feel good about those explanations. Or every now and then maybe go, oh, no, you get off that once you read this and go right to here. Those are things that they're all learning right now.
And any update on Trey Turner and when he might return? Trey's
just, again, he a little bit of a quad, and so what we're trying to do is, bring him back, work him through it. He's a veteran guy, and it's one of those things you can't, you got to be very, very diligent on that with veteran guys.
What are you seeing out of some of those third and fourth safeties, guys like Derek Forrest, Percy Butler, your younger defensive backs?
Well, what you're seeing is a guy's grasping what we're doing quickly. It was a really good spring for our secondary, and they picked up right where they left off, and I'm very pleased with that.
Derek just called Kendall Fuller the playbook just for his intelligence. What about Kendall makes him somebody that younger guys can lean on so much?
Well, first of all, he's got a very good athletic football skill set, and that's a really good thing. Now you couple that with really being a smart football player, a very headsy guy that's got a tremendous amount of anticipation, and he's got a chance to make plays. He really does, and and he's having a really good camp right now.
With your guys' defense, you said a lot last year that the pressure kind of comes from the interior, but how much is more just needed from the edge in general, or is that just always going to be a product of?
Because if you're getting good edge then the quarterback's got to step into the pocket. And if we're getting the push that we get, that's a huge plus. So it works together. It really does. And for us, what we got last year, getting as much as we did from the inside, in particular, Jonathan, Duran, really giving that push. We've got to be able to clean it up on the outside, and having a healthy Montez and those other guys coming to form and then getting chased back eventually, that could be a really good thing.
Is there something, a position group or anything you like to see when the pads come on that you feel like I'm going to get a better view of this now?
Well, we got a group of young safeties, a solid group of young linebackers that we have to really look into and try to have a very good feel within a week. And I think this will be a very important week for us as far as those group of guys are concerned. I mean, we're veteran in the fronts, offensive and defensive lines to a degree. We got a group of young tight ends that we have to see as well, because again, we're trying to make sure we bring John Bates back at the right time as well.
And with the
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. You go. I just want to ask
okay. Okay, with the pads, and obviously back in the day there was more live hitting and live tackling and all that. So is it a little bit harder to fully learn what you want to see when in the current iteration of it?
It is, just because you have to be smart. You don't want to get people hurt, and so you try to limit the high impact collisions.
Hey, Coach, I see that Ryan Kerrigan's here today. Did you guys work something out? It's nice to see him out here.
Well, what we've done, and Ryan came and specifically talked about wanting to see if coaching is something that's possibly in the future. And so he said, hey, look, let's put together a little bit of an idea, give you a couple weeks to kind of go through it, see what the grind is all about, see if it works for you. I told him one of the things that I did when I first retired. It took me about a year and a half before I decided I really wanted to get into coaching. And so, this is something that you jump straight from retirement into coaching. So he wanted to get a feel for it. We're going to give him, a couple of weeks, and then we'll reassess and reevaluate and see where he is.
Do you have any kind of title with you guys?
Not necessarily, not right now. I mean, this is still kind of the learning and understanding, but he is working specifically with the defensive line, specifically with the defensive ends. You see him put his arm around a couple of the young guys, talk with Montez about a couple of things. So it's good to see him interacting, and we'll see how he is in a couple of weeks.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.